Gear principle. The gear principle in pool is where when I'm hitting the cue ball with certain spins, the opposite reaction is going to happen on the object ball. For example, if I put draw or bottom spin on the cue ball, it will force that object ball to follow spin. Okay, if I put right spin on the cue ball, it'll force that object ball to move towards the left. Left spin on the cue ball will force the object ball to move towards the right. Those are parts of the gears, and we're going to use a gear shot right here, or using the gear principle in this shot with, the 10 and the 14 are frozen right now. And what I'm trying to do is actually pocket the 14 in the side pocket, just like our tangent lines we practiced before. When we find our tangent line again, it's a straight horizontal line across here. We find the core of the 10, core of the 14, and then we find that straight line in the middle, which is right here. That's actually lined straight up actually for the side pocket point. It's actually not lined up straight for that side pocket. So we now can't use a straight tangent line shot in there. So we have to work the gear of the ball a little bit, which in this case we need the 14 to come off this tangent line to make it in there. And the way to do this shot or work the gears here is by hitting bottom on the cue ball or hitting draw shot. Hitting draw will, after contact, force this 14 to slightly come off that tangent line because it's starting to foul a little bit. Let's try it out once. Again, hitting draw on the cue ball on the 14 so that the 14 can work a follow towards the side pocket more than the point. So you can see that 14 came straight off that frozen part, but it followed more towards off the tangent line, which was created right here. So that was our last tangent line we had, and it was able to, after contact, move forward off of that rather than going straight into the side pocket and missing. So you can tell if it's off. If I hit this 10 ball in the side pocket, but if I hit this too hard, the 10 will just go off and hit the point right here. Let's try that out as a miss. This will be, I'm going to try to make it in, but I'm going to hit with speed. So you can see, I didn't go in the design pocket I was going for. It came off the right tangent line, but not the design pocket I was aiming for. So that was not the successful situation I would have. So we're going to try one more with the tangent line again, being along the point. We're going to try the 9 ball on the side. Again, I want to make sure my tangent line is set. And I always make sure that my cores of the cue ball or the object ball is there. Make my lines correctly. That's why I always want to make sure my lines are set. So now again, I have to follow the 9 ball in the side pocket by hitting draw on the cue ball. So I'm going to be putting bottom on this cue ball on that side of that 9. So hopefully the 9 goes off the tangent line. That's a really good way to work your gear on different frozen shots where your tangent line might be off by a little bit. Now we're going to go over the bank shot a little bit now too, using some right and left English. A dead center straight bank is where I don't necessarily have to hit any English at all really. I can just go straight into it. Let's try that again. Fun valley table once again I have here. But again I want a straight shot, typically for most bank shots. Now, I'm going to do that and make sure I can bank it on my own table here. So that was going in, but what we want to work on now is not just hitting bank shots, is making the object ball have a different behavior to move differently, and that's using our left and right spins. I like to typically hit inside English when I hit bank shots. Sometimes I have to use outside English to hit bank shots, and we're going to look at right, in those cases also just saying right and left English. But in this case we're going to work a different one here. We're going to do a little bit of right English. So sometimes my cue ball might be too far offline right here, and it's not so straight for the bank shot. That's where I have to influence on the cue ball by putting a little bottom right on it to force that 13 to jump off softer or come off shorter. If I put left or outside English or bottom left, trying to bank this, that 13 will jump off and go wider here. Let's try the one where the 13 goes wide. So I'm going to try to hit this bank, but I'm going to put bottom left on it. You can see it easily drift away. Now, we're going to hit this with bottom right, same deal, and see how much shorter it comes off this angle here. Now you can see the angle goes in, so I typically have more control hitting right, or I'm sorry, inside English, but I do have to practice all my Englishes. So again, we're going to make sure that the English comes off correctly here. I'm going to hit this first one with left English. We're going to see how the ball travels off the rail. And you can see how, again, widens that angle. Sometimes you need wider banks, sometimes you need shorter banks. I'm going to do one more with a shorter bank this time. And shorter meaning I want it to come off the rail and not so wide. We're going to come off short off the rail. So in this case, I need to hit right and bottom English here and through the contact point. And that's a really good way to work your gears on the cue ball to make sure the object ball is going in the correct target areas.